Hey, what's up, everybody? This is DJ Fanatic from soundsforproducers.com. Today's video is a little different. I'm going to show you a couple books that I recommend for music producers so that way I can give you a little bit of guidance, a little bit of growth, and also just to kind of open your mind up to new things to help you get to that next level. All right, check it out. All right, so the first book I'm actually going to recommend is awesome. Actually, they're all awesome, but I thought I'd do something a little different in this video and not just make another beat making video. Just wanted to give you some guidance on some books that are really good for music producers and to help give you, just kind of some momentum to keep moving forward. But I do want to recommend an audiobook first before I get into that. So as you can tell, this is a new channel. There's probably one subscriber, so if you want to show your support, hit that sub button, especially if you learned something from this video. We greatly appreciate it, and we got a lot of great things planned for this channel. So anyway, the first one I'm going to recommend is an audiobook that I listened to probably at least 3 times, and it's like 6 or 7 hours long. It's called The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Look it up on Amazon or YouTube or whatever. He says some really great stuff in there. A very, 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 very powerful book. It's great for motivating you, for opening your eyes up to, the things that you do in life to get you to the next level. Like as a music producer, I know you want, everyone wants different things, but do you want to like keep working a job that you hate your whole life? You know what I'm saying? Do you want to just do music just for your friends, or do you want everyone in the world to hear your music? Do you want to see your music on TV, stuff like that? And Grant Cardone talks about basically taking action, and that's what 10x stands for. 10 times the action that you're taking right now, instead of just playing around on Instagram and actually on IG. If you like to follow us, you can follow us on Instagram at Sounds for Producers on IG. But just mess around on Instagram, where you're just watching 5 hours, 6 hours a day on TV, or playing video games, whatever your vice is. It's like, are you giving 10 times the amount of energy to what you really want to do as a music producer? So he broke down the 10x rule very well. Like, he explained like the different levels of people, like the people that don't do anything. They wake up, they just kind of lay around all day. They call their friends, stay on the phone all day. They just do barely enough to get by. Like, they're not motivated to do nothing. Like, I'm glad I was never like that. I knew some friends that were like, that's crazy. But, and then there's people that, they get up, they have jobs, they go to work, they come home, they cook for their family, or, feed a dog, whatever. They do what they need to do. They pay the bills on time, whatever. They do what everyone else does as a, average person. So those are people doing average levels of activity. And then there's those that do beyond average, above average, which is doing 10 times more than the average person. This creates momentum. It gets you closer to your goals. And this is one thing that stood out in this book. There's tons of information, but those doing a 10 times amount is like, it's like, a sprinter compared to, someone that's can't even speed walk, if you will. You know what I mean? So anyway, doing 10 times the amount of one person, basically, beyond what you think you can do. It is crazy what they're talking about. And I think he actually used that story of the tortoise and the hare, where he was like, you think the rabbit's going to win, but he was like, no, there's a third winner. The one that can run as fast as the rabbit, but have the sustainability as the tortoise. So if you can sprint and hold on to that sprint, you're going to get to your goals faster. Basically, increased activity over time equals success. I remember that. That's crazy. So anyway, that was a great message out of the book. And I actually want to own the book. I own the audio. I just listened to it a billion times. But I would like to read a book, because sometimes when you read, you get more out of a different perspective. And I wouldn't say more out of it, but it kind of sinks in at a different level. So the first book I would like to recommend is by a producer from Atlanta. And I actually saw him last year at the A3C festival. and he's a very, very, very spiritual man, and he's he's dope, man. He's a great keyboardist, very smart. Anyway, Zaytoven. Boom. This book came out. When did it come out? I'm not sure when it came out. I can look. But it's called From A to Z. And as soon as I heard that he wrote this, I had to buy it because I admire, of course, his music. But I wanted to hear more about him as a person. This came out in 2015. The copyright is 2015. So, he's a very spiritual guy. He doesn't drink or smoke. I admire that. To be like Gucci Mane's main producer, and he's just like not into those type of things. It's kind of interesting to hear it. It was interesting to me. I like that. So anyway, this book actually, there were so many different things in here. I like how it was broken down: action, believe, create, discover, earn, family, grow, habit, invest, job, job, knowledge. There's a lot of really good information in here, and it's a quick read. I like to read my books slow so I can get more out of it, and I like how they highlighted certain words in the book, so that way, you can just relate to it in a different way. And also find the key words. I really like how they did that. Oh, so they highlighted the words of the title. That's what it is. So let me just find some random words here. What do you mean? If I can, Jesus asked. Anything is possible if a person believes. Basically, have faith. I know as a producer, such as myself, sometimes you lose faith and you get wrapped up in a day-to-day life. Never lose faith and never lose sight of that vision, because that vision is all you got, and hold on to it. Some advice that he mentioned here was act like the producer or person you want to be. Every opportunity I had, I was in a studio, but I felt like I needed something or someone to gauge my progress. I needed a producer mentor, but I didn't know any personally. I decided to find a producer who was the best, or one of the best in my book, and began to mimic their style. I chose DJ Quick. Of course, he was from Cali, and at that time, West Coast artists like Dre, Snoop, Ice Cube, and Nate Dogg, Warren G, and E40 were all popping. My beats were centered around the whole soul and funk rap era. I felt like I had graduated from college when I created a beat that sounded as if DJ Quick made it. That's when I knew I had something special. So basically, find mentors, man. That's what that statement is saying, and find someone that inspires you on a real level, and learn from them. You're special automatically. Like, you're you, and what you can do is kind of like learn what you can from them, and use it in your own way. You know what I mean? I'm not saying steal from them. I mean, even if you think you stole from them, you still would do it your own way or find something different to change. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Create. Now that I had my protege, the next step was to create a star. Radrick Davis became known as Gucci Mane. See, now he talks about meeting Gucci Mane. I thought that was dope because, like, hearing the backstory of them meeting is like they were just kind of vibing, man. And as a producer, I know you guys vibe with artists, and don't discredit that, because that's really special, because you're kind of building each other, and that vibe, that bond is priceless. I know sometimes you might be like, man, I ain't singing that. I mean, like, your artist that you're working with is like, yo, I don't like that beat, but you like it. I mean, there's gonna be conflicts or whatever, or debates, and when then money starts coming in, sometimes that can tear things down or whatever, but they still work together. You know what I'm saying? So, great book to read. There's a lot of really good information. Unite with other producers coming up. As I mentioned earlier on, back in the day, when an artist locked in with a producer, they usually provided the beats for the entire project. but now you might have as many producers as you do songs. Yeah, true. So yeah, collaborating with other producers. It's definitely. This is back in 2015, so now it's collaborations is all over the place. So anyway, great book to read. Highly recommend it. Shout out to Zaytoven, if anybody knows him that watches video, or if you watch his videos, eh? And secondly, let me check the time, make sure this video ain't too long for y'all. Secondly, yeah, this is another one, man. I just finished this last year. It's crazy saying last year, but anyway, Curtis King. Shout out to Curtis King if you see this video, or any other producers that see this video know Curtis. This book was outstanding. I do recommend it for any producers, no matter what kind of genre you make. It's a very insightful book. He talked a lot about his life and how he came to be the person that he is. He also broke down music a lot, like how he started to be a producer with that video game. I think it was the MTV PlayStation game. I actually remembered that, and I thought it was kind of cool because I didn't have PlayStation. I think I was a Nintendo head. Yeah, I was a Nintendo guy back then, so I don't think Nintendo had a version of it, but I actually remember that game. So I remember him being exciting, or having a choice between getting that, or I think it was NBA 2K at the time. And I think it was the first NBA 2K. That's crazy. And that game was huge. Like, you think it's big now? When that first one came out, man. So he had I'm talking about a chapter in the book. He had a choice of investing in his craft of music, his desire of music, or getting something that costs more and is just for leisure. You see what I'm saying? So that was like an early sign of what are you choosing in life. And every producer can relate to that. Every producer. Because, we spend money on marketing, spend money on our online beat stores, we spend money on ads, we spend money on equipment. Come on, somebody. We spend money on laptops, plugins, interfaces, Akai Fires, all kinds of stuff. Don't worry, I got the MPC 5000, all that stuff. But yeah. So that was a very, very powerful decision to make early on in the book, and talked about his production with TDE, how he wasn't getting paid, with a lot of the placements he did. He talked about his beat battles. I did not know this man was on Red Bull Big Tune, the Big Tune producer battle. I didn't know that. I watched that series over and over, and I finally saw the clip of him there battling his homie. I don't know if they're good now, Captain. And shout out to Captain too, man. You got crazy stuff, bro. I think I saw you on Instagram. But yeah, it was dope to see that footage and relate it to this book. He talked, and I like how he has lessons after every chapter. See? And I like how he breaks down the lessons in every chapter. It's a great layout. This is randomly. I just opened it up. Lessons to take away from chapter 7. Set goals and keep them close till you accomplish them. Come on. That was my last video. I talked about goals for 2019 for producers. If you haven't watched that, check it out. I just posted that. Sometimes your best musical breakthroughs come outside of your comfort zone. That's golden right there. I mean, even going outside of your comfort zone is like doing beat battles, getting on stage, talking on camera. That makes you grow as a person. Never hesitate to learn new skills that will potentially make you more valuable to your industry, even if those skills at first don't seem directly connected to your industry. Exactly. Making rap money is an amazing feeling. Create avenues to make it possible. So what he meant by that is just trying different things, and don't just limit yourself as a producer. If you're a passion for it and you work on it and you're good at it, there's other ways of making money in this industry. So yeah, he talked about a lot of great stuff. My bad, I didn't tell you the title. It's Curtis King, the Prosperous Hip Hop Producer. my beat making journey from my grandma's patio to six-figure business. And also that I just remembered, he talked about stages of depression, at the time, when his music just wasn't popping, and he also talked about working at the sandwich store, you know, and just smelling like food all day, and then leaving there just to go work on beats. Basically, it was very humbling to hear his journey as a producer, because I can relate to that. Like, I was pretty much equivalent to that, and he got to a point where he was just going to give up, and not only give up on his music, but on life. And that's very powerful. And something just turned him around. Actually, it was a picture of his sister that fell down on the floor, and he saw it, and that's what motivated him, or changed his perspective on, look, I'm being selfish, what about my family? So for all my producers out there, definitely a good read. And you got to ask yourself, why do you do it sometimes? It's not always about you, it's also about those around you as well. So again, if you're feeling any of these books, if you read any, put it in the comments. Let me know what you think of them. Let me know what chapters inspired you or what you learned from them. And also, if you know any other books that you want to recommend for the community, please put them in there in the comments below. And last but not least, this video is not too long. I'm kind of biased with this one because he is one of my favorite producers. And I heard that he's doing a masterclass this month, so I'm going to sign up to that. And that's, if you didn't know, now you know. And I'm probably biased to it because I was living in Virginia, in Hampton, the time him and Pharrell was kind of blowing up. And I was going to school, listening, go to school, go to college, get a good job, I got a decent job, but, I also, still to this day make music. And now, obviously I am, doing sounds now. I'm a sound designer as well. So anyway, Timbaland, the Emperor of Sound, the executive music producer of the hit show Empire. And that was a good look for Timbaland too, to be an executive producer for Empire. The Emperor of Sound. And shout out to Sound Oracle too, one of his sound designers. Love the podcast, man. Guys, check him out on Instagram. I think it's every Friday. And Trizza too. Peace. Anybody know them or whatever, tell them DJ Fanatic said what's up, man. But yeah, this book is awesome. I say that about every book because I get so much out of these books. And I, none of them paid me for this. I'm receiving no checks or no type of offers or anything. I'm doing this to help the community, and also just to recommend you guys. So I recommend good stuff to you guys to help better your perspective and to help motivate you. And just reading about people that are successful helps remind you, it's possible, So anyway, when you hear a song that refuses to make up its mind about its genre but compels you to move, you're hearing Timbaland. I love that. The New Yorker. Yeah, that's tight. This book, man, it talked about pretty much what Curtis was saying. It talked about his early life. Timbaland actually was a dishwasher, I think, at Red Lobster. And one of the stories that come in my head, one of his homies came in, and I think he shot himself on accident or something. No, my bad. Timbaland got shot in his shoulder, I think. His shoulder or leg. Anyway, that was like so vivid to me. He got shot on accident by a friend. I think it was his friend. Forgive me if I'm messing up the story, but I never knew he'd been through that. And he also talked about how I didn't know Timbaland was so religious, like spiritual. I didn't know that either. His mom was very spiritual, and he knew a lot of the Bible, and he probably does to this day. And he also talked about how he was a DJ first, DJ Timothy, I think, Timothy T, I think. Oh, forgive me if I'm mistaken, but it was cool to hear his how he met Pharrell, how he met Missy, and how he just started making music. And also, it was cool how I, you know, he got out of Virginia through Jodeci. Missy giving the demo or actually performing backstage for Jodeci after a show randomly. I thought that was cool. Excuse me, I'm a little under the weather, but yeah, great story, great history. He talked about how he started making beats for Genuine. He also talked about like the this is more on the dark side, but being a young guy, just not hustling but living rough, man. He stayed in like an apartment, like a studio apartment, and sometimes he slept in the studio working all day making beats for Jodeci. He said sometimes he didn't eat, he was broke, and one time he was I think driving one of the girls to get something to eat, and he ended up crashing, and I think the girl passed away, man. But it was just very, very personal. I'm shocked a lot of this was in this book, and it's always powerful to hear outside of music, because you get to know the person more and what they've been through, and when you learn what they've been through, it connects you on a human level. You know what I mean? And that's what music really is. It's just a communication through sound on a personal level. We're all human. At the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, the end of whatever, we're all just people. And to hear all his history and how, him meeting Justin Timberlake, how they did "Cry Me a River," it was very, very, very deep. Like, he walked in the room and he's like, he can kind of tell. He'll ask what kind of song you want, or he'll get to know what's on the person's mind, and then he can create music. And he's known to do that very fast, and he's very successful at it. And also he talked about doing the Beat Club, which was his label at the time with Bubba Sparks and Miss Jade. Miss Jade, come on, man. I love that album to this day. A lot of people don't know about it. If you know about it, put it in the comments. But he talked about how he tried to step out of the just being a producer to being the label owner, and it wasn't really. I mean, it did well, but it wasn't as successful as he wanted it to be. And he talked about how he wasn't ready for that just yet. After that passed, and then I think he mentioned Nelly Furtado, working with her, and just basically the whole studio stuff. And he also talked about his health. I follow him on IG too as well. You notice he works out and stays in shape, and how staying in shape helps your mind and whatnot. It was dope to hear. Also he had like a love story in there too as well. It was kind of cool how, he shared that part, because that helps somebody. I mean, for all the producers out there, whether you're male or female, it can be a lonely life. You're in the studio all the time. You're making content. You're making beats. You're, making sounds. You're meeting up with other people. You got functions to go to. You got sessions to go to. But, he actually was attracted to somebody, and she changed his world, and he shared that in his book. It wasn't just about music. So I really admire that, he stepped out of that comfort zone and went to something different. I like to randomly open up pages, and he's also talked about Aaliyah. I think he talked about Magoo a little bit. Oh, it was funny to hear the story about Genuine, about how he ran away. Basically, it was so bad in the studio, I think it was New Jersey, with Jodeci, that Genuine had to sneak out of the studio to meet up with Timbaland for a meeting for a label deal. He ran out. I think he said he didn't shower. Let me just read this random page I opened up. One afternoon, Genuine came into the studio while I was tinkering with the beat, and Static was trying to write to it. "I need that beat," Genuine said. He was more amped than I'd ever seen. He was usually a laid-back cat. Nah, that's for play, I said. Although I will say that at that point, saying a beat was for any particular member or group in the basement, that's what they called it, was like shopping for real estate with Monopoly money. It was all make believe until Devontae started to show and prove. No, you don't understand. Genuine said, his eyes widening. I need that beat. That joint is hot to death. Static and Genuine started writing together, reimagining the song as a sexy R&B joint. The hook came first. If you're horny, let's do it. Ride it, my pony. So basically, that was during the time when they came up with my pony. Uh, and when Timbaland initially played that beat, like, it lit up the studio. You know what I'm saying? So you know when you make that monster, it's impactful and people respond to it. So yeah, when you're making music, you never know, because that one song could change your life. So anyway, this this book was awesome. I highly recommend it. Just, it didn't take too long. See, I think it was 100 and almost 200 pages, and 220, I believe, and it came out. Where is the copyright? Not sure, but it's not too old. But I mean, even if it is old, you can always get something out of it. Don't just turn off. Oh, bad. Trying to get the copyright time. Date 2015. So 3 years ago. Well, 4 now. To God who makes all things possible, to my mother and father who have always supported my dreams, and to my wife Monique for unwavering belief in me and tireless giving. Did not know they got married. He didn't mention that in their book. So anyway, there you go. So to recap, first was Grant Cardone, the 10X Rule. Look it up. I don't have the book, I have the audio. Second was From A to Z by Zaytoven. I think he may be working on a second book, or he has already. I gotta look that up. Next was Curtis King, the prosperous hip hop producer. My beat making journey from my grandma's patio to a 6-figure business. And last but not least, Timbaland, the Emperor Sound. So those are just some books I would recommend to producers. And I wanted to do something a little different for this video. I didn't want to just do another beat making video or like a sound demo video or nothing like that. Just wanted to give you some inspiration. And reading, always takes your mind somewhere else. Your imagination flows, your energy goes. It makes you more excited to get back to work. It gives you different ideas for your business. And also motivates you to do things you normally don't do. And it's great to learn from other people that succeeded or succeeding right now, doing it right now, because you can get from where you are to beyond where they are. And as long as you believe it and you have the consistency and the desire to do it. So anyway, it's DJ Fanatic Beats at soundsforproducers.com. We got that new free Cayenne pack coming for you. Maybe I'll put it in the link at the end of this in the description once it's available. And also, pardon me, as you can tell, it's a new channel. Please hit that sub button, hit the bell, that way you get to see more stuff that we have planned for this. And also give it a like if you enjoyed the video. Appreciate you. DJ Fanatic signing out. Peace.